Hey everyone, my name is Jordy and we are back with another episode of Insider Insight. And today we're talking about weekday versus weekend events. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons to hosting your event on a weekday versus a weekend. So let's start with a weekday. And for the sake of this example, let's just say you're hosting your event on a Thursday. If you have your event on a Thursday night, number one, there's probably more venues that are going to be open to hosting your event. Most galas are taking place on a Friday or more likely a Saturday night. So if you're hosting your event on Thursday, there oftentimes is not an event right before yours. So it allows your decor team, your production team to get in and set up a little bit early, giving you more time for a run through. And it's probably going to be a little more cost effective as well, since it's not a peak day of the week for an event. You're going to have a little bit more wiggle room with negotiations and available venues if you do a weekday event. Now, of course, a con to this is knowing that most people are either coming straight from work and having to return to work pretty early the next day. So this is really just getting creative with your timeline, making sure that you're not starting your cocktail hour too early, keeping your program a little bit tighter on the timeline, and maybe not having an after party that goes until 1 a.m. This doesn't mean you can't still have entertainment afterwards, but making sure that you're thinking about your attendees and their schedule so you're not keeping them too late or forcing them to leave work a little bit early. Now, pretty much everything that I just said, flip that for a Saturday night event. You definitely have more freedom when it comes to the timeline. There aren't as many restrictions when it comes to people having work the next day or having to come from work to get there on time. You can make your event a little bit longer, have a little bit more of an after party if that's something that's important to you. But there is going to be a little bit more competition, both when it comes to venues and with your attendees' availability, especially if you're doing an event in the busy season, the spring or the fall. You know, in St. Louis, there is a gala every single weekend. So on a weekend, a lot of times, if your event is on a Saturday, there's likely something going on the night before, sometimes even the day after. So it just doesn't give the team quite as much time for setup and breakdown. Now, this isn't really an issue. The production team can work around that schedule, but it's always something to think about. If you are planning your next event and you're considering whether to do a Thursday or a Saturday night and you have questions, you can connect with our team via a discovery call at the link below, and we will see you next time on Insider Insight.